Talking about funding,
Yeah.
at the moment, a lot of states are complaining, or the citizens are complaining of inadequacy, in terms of development,
Yeah.
the gap between what is coming in
Yeah.
and what is being done.
Yeah.
If you now add the responsibility of a state police, where do we go?
Well, again, as I said, it depends on a question of prioritization. Okay? No, even America does not have enough money to spend on everything it wants to spend. But if you prioritize, if you believe that this police issue is important, again, as I say, there's always a cost and benefit analysis. Cost, there's going to be cost in providing police, but there will be benefits. There will be industries. I can tell you that just within the past 3-4 months, about 4 companies have said they will not come to Ekiti to invest because of security concerns in Ekiti. A Chinese company that wanted to come and establish a car workshop in Ekiti said that the embassy refused it to come. 2 electricity companies, one from the US, another from China, said that they were stopping their negotiation because they heard that Ekiti was insecure. Another one, so 4 of them. But if they find out that they hear that Ekiti has 1,000 policemen, Ekiti is secure, our roads are good, the train that comes to us, the airport goes in and out, etc. You will see people come. More people come. Despite all of what I'm saying, people, because they now see that this governor is going to be here for 4 years, I have had increased interest in people say, okay, now we know that, because there are a lot of people held back to say, okay, we will come after the election. Now that okay, so we now must take additional advantage of other things that have held people back. Security is one of them, electricity, infrastructure, all of those things are things that you will see will catalyze interest in the state.
Well, the appointment of the commissioner, you said is going to be by the governor.
Well, I mean, that's the proposal, but there are alternative proposals that it should be by a police commission. Just as, judges are chosen by judicial commission.
Yes.
But maybe that the judicial commission will recommend 3 policemen, and then the governor will choose one of them. But he needs to have. Look, if the governor is the chief security officer, he should have a hand in the choice of the chief operations officer, so that one at least has a certain minimum kind of loyalty to him. And loyalty does not mean servility. Okay, you cannot have somebody. You cannot be a chief security officer and then you have a chief operating officer who you only met on the day he started work. You should be able to be provided with 3 options of operating officers, and then you talk with this person and say, does this person share my values? Okay, it's one thing to be a police officer, but he may have some things he asks from the person and say, okay, in your dadari, there must be a certain level. So I wouldn't mind if a judicial commission recommended 3 people, and the governor then chose one of them based on his own interview.
The relationship between the state police and the federal police, what will be the way they work?
One is with training. I think the training should be handled by the federal. That is, there should be a federal training. The standards for policing should be the federal. That is, you know, I mean, I talked about the minimum as OND, but what they are trained about, I mean, how they relate to citizens, how they handle arms, promotions. There's no reason why a policeman who is a inspector in Ekiti cannot become inspector in Abia, because they have such different standards. Okay, so the standards, so training standards, weapon handling, status, the salaries may be different. I mean, because different states, I don't even support this issue of governors earning the same amount of money state to state, because we don't have the same, or commissioners earning the same amount. We don't have the same resources. That is not a federal system where you have a wages and salaries commission deciding the salaries of everybody in the country. That is a unitary system. It is not a federal system.
Each state should decide.
Each state should decide its own. Some may be hard. I mean, state universities decide their own fees, relatively different from federal. Okay, why should everybody then have the same salary? So, but salaries may differ, but standards should be the same.
There are fears that governors may misuse the state police. Do you have such fears?
Yeah.
The
president can misuse police.
Yeah.
Why, if the president can misuse police, why can't the governors misuse police? But there must be checks and balances. There will always, where anybody who exercises power there's always a possibility of abuse.
Yes.
It is predicting the abuse, preventing the abuse, and sanctioning the abuse. Okay? So we have to sit down and predict the abuses.
Okay.
Having predicted the abuses, we have to take steps to prevent the abuse. But even if they still occur because of the collusion of maybe the police commissioner and the governor, then there must be a way of sanctioning the abuse. There's nothing else you can do. Okay, that's just how life is. You cannot, because of the possibility of abuse, you don't do so. That's the pros and cons. That's the cost and benefit analysis of any human endeavor.
Now we have non-state actors already.
Yeah.
Amatekon.
Yeah.
You have in Ekiti, I think there are green, what do you call it?
Forest guards
and all of them.
All
we have OPC.
NSCDC. Okay, now you are talking about non-state actors. You have OPC, you have vigilantes, matriculate. As I told you, minimum should be OND. So if those who want to be converted have this minimum, okay, there should be no political considerations. Okay, somebody said he didn't want thugs to be converted into policemen. So, but these are people who have already indicated their willingness to put their lives on the line. So they should be considered if they qualify for this minimum. Non-state actors in general are not to be encouraged, okay, because they are non-state actors, especially in the security arena. But the reason why they have been there is because of is precisely to fill this local vacuum.
Okay.
Okay. If the vacuum is filled, the need for them will reduce, and that may actually be why some people will be resisting state police. Because they believe that then these non-state actors will be out of a job, you know. So in addition to the fears of abuse of the powers, inadequate funding, because those really are the two issues that are feared: the abuse by policemen in an inadequate funding. There is the third fear of the non-state actors who say, what happens to us? Okay, and so that also has to be balanced.
What is your view about Sunday Igboho and his present situation?
No, I support him fully. I mean, look, he is a non-state actor.
Yes.
I think he represents a frustration of people in his environment and Yoruba people in general about the invasion by others who are not Yoruba. But I will tell you that some of those people too are Yoruba in our midst. So Sunday Igboho makes statements that others would rather not make. But he does not have the right to violence. And there are statements that he makes too that he should be careful about. But on the whole, I support his proclamations.
While we hear more of Sunday Igboho, it appears that OPC has not been responsive enough to the issues of insecurity.
Well, when Dr. Faseun was around, and when Gani was not Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò, OPC was more vibrant, was more vibrant. I mean, I was reasonably close to Faseun, and when he was around and he talked about OPC, you would think that we have a 100,000 army ready to defend Yoruba land at any given time. But his rift with Gani Adams, and I think some of that rift was political, and I think it was around the Obasanjo time. Some of it was political, some of it was because some people were being accused of being violent. And then he died, and then Gani became more mainstream. He started taking chieftaincy titles and so that's it. I mean, the concept of OPC remains good, but it has changed his character as it has gone along.
So in the long run, you see the state police doing what the Nigerian police
fully support it.
Cannot do.
I fully support it, and I'm hoping that the Ekiti state is positioned well to have it work effectively within the small states that we have.
Are we going to have the Nigerian police reduced in terms of population when we have a state police?
It really should not, because we don't really have look, if you read what I wrote 20 years ago, it's still the same number. They said 384,000.
And it's still the
same number ever since 2000, because many of them retire, they are replaced. That total number hardly ever increases. And you also know the number of these policemen who are attached to government officials, including myself, all over the country. So the number of policemen left to the national policemen left to guard the citizens is very minuscule. In fact, you see most of them during elections, when they just deploy. sometimes you run a number, 70,000 deployed, 300,000 deployed.
You don't see them.
You don't see them, but just to put a scare in my people's mind. So, as more state policemen come in, you actually need to have a ratio. I would suggest that in each state that has determined a certain number of policemen for itself, the national police should also determine some kind of ratio between so it will not be the same number of the national police in each state. You look at what the state, you come to some discussions as to what number of state policemen that this state has. There are many states, different states have different situations. Land size, you presume that the larger the size of the land, the larger the number of state police they will need. Population, you will presume that the higher the number of policemen, the higher the number of police. The number of bordering states, that is neighboring states, you will presume that the number of states that border a particular state, the number of policemen that will be required. Those states that have international borders, you will presume that they will require more policemen. And then the fifth issue is the intrinsic threat within the state. You cannot say that it is a peaceful state. So there must be, when you are trying to calculate the state, there must be a peace index.
Yes.
I don't know, a weighting. So there will be a population index, there will be a land size index, there will be a number of borders index, there will be an international borders, and that borders could include international borders. So I will put international borders as separate because and then there's a peace index that just says, okay, what is the threat here? Borno may have a peace index that is higher than the one on Ekiti, so that if you are doing that calculation, you'll be able to get a number, and then you can start with that number and see how they are able to address threats within the state. And then you may either increase that may be a baseline number, and you either increase that or reduce it based on actual experience.
People of the Fountain,